Well, hello, redneck fans. This is Rusty back on the air. Hey, I hadn't put out videos in quite a while, and there's a good reason for it. I just hadn't felt like it. We were supposed to be in the Bahamas at this time, and all the way through, the rest of spring and part of summer, and we got 5 days out on our trip, leaving from Houston, going to the Bahamas on our boat, and had some medical issues, some things that told us we shouldn't go. So we came on back, and I've had real trouble, I guess, getting back involved with the YouTube stuff. But hey, we've had a boat race here. We had our opening boat race in Alexandria, which was our first big outing, and that's kind of got me excited about props again. I had quite a bit of props that I had worked on, and I had pretty good luck with the stuff. I wasn't disappointed in anything that I had done, so that's always a bonus. But anyway, some of the prop work has got me excited again, and I want to share with you a little bit about what I've done and how I'm doing it and what it's doing for us. So, I don't mind sharing anything that I'm doing. If it'll help anybody else out there, they're more than welcome to the ideas. And having the idea and the understanding of exactly how it works is two different things. So, if you got any questions, give me a holler, and I'll try to help you out best I can. Really trying to build a sport more than just win every time. We got a little bit of advantage right now, and it's a little bit of everything. It's the boat, it's the driver. We got a good power plant, got a good expansion chamber, a good pipe on the motor, and hey, I worked on props a lot, so we kind of got it all together a little bit, and it shows out on the race course. Like I say, I wouldn't mind helping anybody do anything. If they want to copy my boat, I'll give them dimensions, whatever it takes to increase the enjoyment of the boat races out there. But anyway, I guess the purpose of this first video is going to be mostly on props. People will bring me a prop, and they hit a little bush out or something in the water and kind of mess up the front edge, and I'll fix it for them, and beat on it a little bit. Had some that was in pretty bad shape at this race that I was able to salvage and save. I didn't have all of my good prop tools, all of my buffers and all that, but I got it back where it was usable. But man, I have found out a couple things over the last few years about props, and I got some to do. I got a couple of props here that a fella wants me to add 200 yards of acceleration. He said after about 200 yards, he said that song I'm gonna roll, but he said I need 200 yards of acceleration. I said, man, I got that on my table. I got some of that. So he sent it to me, and I'm gonna fix those and send them back. Also traded a fella out of a prop. He was in. I had a prop that he tried, and it worked really good, and I had kind of cast my eyeball on this one because it's a 9/16 hole, and they run big motors. See, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a 5/8 hole, and that's a 9/16. So he was gonna have to bore this to try to use that prop. I told him if the prop that I had worked, hey, I'll trade you for that one right there. So that's how I got that wheel, and I've been sitting on my bench. I've been sitting in there on my easy chair, drawing out blade patterns about how I might want to change it and how big the diameter would be if I did exactly that. And some of these blade patterns, we'll go through them here in just a second. Some of these blade patterns, like this, is an established. That's called a tulip. Years and years people have been making that, and we know it works really good on a Yamato. And the reason I want to cut it down is it's too much blade area for a Yamato. This is really almost too much blade area for any dead gum thing. But this I know would be a safe blade pattern, and this pattern here I've kind of proven that it's working, but I've got some development to do on those props to see if there's something else that I really want to that I want to do. On one of my last props, I rolled the tip of it up so that it kind of had a dam right there on the end, and that prop worked really good, and I don't know if that's why or not, but I need to do some more development before I decide how I want to cut this 4-blade. This is similar to the prop I made. Here's actually the it's not sticky enough. This is actually the blade of the old prop that let's see, the new prop that I made. So this one would, I want to recreate that, because the prop that blue tape came off of, man, I think it's going to be a killer. It might be the best prop in the box. Right off the bat, it showed great mid-range and good acceleration. So, but like I say, before I cut another one and put a wing on it like that, I want to look at develop that prop, make some changes on pitch in different places, see how I can optimize it, and see if that's actually the way I want to go on the back end, or do I want to go something like this. And this was what I'm thinking might be the bomb right here, is I like a rounded back end rather than that straight back end. I feel like I'm making a little bit of a round blade in here that pulls really hard out of the turns. Yet on the end, I've got a high aspect ratio wing, basically, that works real good at mid-range and on top end. So this is what I think I'm going to go for, but like I said, I've got some development to do before I cut on this wheel, because I do want to make me a nice 4-blade. And again, I like this rounded back end, and you know, we'll sit down and go through some of the reasons that I like that. I have found that if you cut this off here, then the prop will spin up. It's just reduction of blade area that really doesn't help you that much. It can, if the pitch is just right in rough water, help you, but when the water gets real rough, the bigger the blade, the more stability you've got. But this is going to be a 4-blade, so it's going to have some stability. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking at today. I need to add 200 yards of acceleration on them two, and I don't know what else. That's all I got on my plate right now for props. But we'll go around and look at some of my tools. This is just a chunk of brass that Dwayne Larimore gave me, and I use it. I got different angles that I've used on it, and Dwayne welded some brass on the front of a low hammer, and that's mostly what I'm using to work with. And I picked this up. I went over to Hopkins Equipment, and I went over there and talked to him, and I don't think she was quite ready to sell everything, but she gave me this hammer that came out of Hopkins shop. So kind of one of my fun prized possessions there. Another thing that I use when working on props is this ball caliper. You can measure thickness real good with that. It's got a little ball on the end, and it's real good for measuring the thickness of a prop, because it'll go to a little ball. It'll, you know, that's what it's for. It's to measure thickness. And when I'm thinning all these blades, that's exactly what I use. It's an old piece of equipment, but I use that. And this is my balancer. This is just stuck in there. It comes out, and then it rolls down you put the prop on it, goes inside of these two little V's right here to hold it centered, and you roll it and see which blade's heaviest, and that's what that's for. So anyway, from there, I also use a prop gauge that was made by a buddy of mine, Rusty Bonnin, and it's nothing more than an angle finder. The prop goes on it like this. Put this down and lock it in on those cones where it'll be the right shape, and then you turn this thing over and bring it up here and put it on that shaft. I can't hardly do it in one hand, but then this angle finder goes up here and rests on the blade. I should have had me a stand or something. But anyway, that's how I measure the angle of the prop. See, that's on 11 right there. But that's how you measure pitch, and you measure in and out of the blade, and it's progressive front to back and inside to outside. I understand there's kind of a magic number that 1.63 to 1 or something like that somebody has said that that's the magic number for progression, but I don't know about none of that. I just beat on it, and if it goes faster, that's good. If it doesn't, I go the other way. So that's how a redneck does it. But here we are in the redneck shop, ready to get back into it and do some stuff. I got a kind of a raft of old props that are just stuff that I'm going to beat on and change that was give to me. And that's all I do. Is I don't have any props that are new. They're made in the 80s, whatever. And this is my little bench vise. I got a little air grinder that I do a lot with. I buff with it. I cut with it. And I was doing some heavy duty grinding, so I got a little flapper wheel on it there. But I got a bunch of little stuff like that I work with. I found these to be really handy. In fact, they make one that's even more limber than this that I really like for finishing a prop out, because you can work a compound curve with it. Those are hard to find. I think what I'm gonna have to do to make it work is to just get me some 3M Scotch-Brite pads and cut it out and bind it in there with a screw like that, because that's about the consistency that works really good, works best for me. Anyway, that's my junk file right here. Nothing special. Anybody can do it. If you know, working on props, there's nothing magic about it. You get in there and you beat on it, and if it goes faster, try to figure out why. But the best way to start is to look at props that you know in your box that work, and then try to figure out why. And you get a prop that's not as good, you change it to match that prop, and if it doesn't help it, well, that was the wrong thing. Figure out something else, or maybe that prop didn't need that. But it just takes a bunch of figuring out and guessing about you know, it matters too about flow dynamics. If you know a little bit something about how the water moves across a blade, and I guess you just get that over the years. But it's fun part of boat racing for me, is messing with props. So anyway, that's what this video is going to be about. We'll talk a little bit in detail about prop design, blade design, and what has been working for me. Well, I've been measuring some of these props here. The two big wheels that I like to measure them like every 1/4 inch or whatever it is, and you can look at the pitches there. And I wanted to compare those two, because both of those, he was saying he wanted a little bit more punch on both of these wheels. And I compared it to one I had that was a very similar blade area, and this is a much smaller wheel, much less wheel than these two. But anyway, what I'm planning on doing with these props is they want a little more acceleration, and this prop actually has a little bit more final pitch in it, and so it's a little bit taller wheel than that one is. What I like to do is for acceleration, I'll bring this edge up. So what that does is, if you look at it, how it meets the water, how prop meets the water, when it first, you know, we run half in and half out of the water, right? So when it meets the water like that, I want it biting right in here immediately. So I found out that if I can get it to doing that, and it's biting for 20% more of the rotation rather than just being open and flapping and hitting the water, then there's more acceleration to be had right there. So that's what I plan on doing, is reducing the pitch for the first, oh, I don't know, 1.25 inches, something like that. Reducing that pitch a little bit, and that'll give them a little bit more punch. How much is anybody's guess, and we'll go from there. Like I say, I still haven't messed around with this one yet. I hadn't decided what blade pattern I want to go with yet on that thing. I'm kind of tending toward this one here. It's swept back a little bit. I can get a little bit more diameter out of staying close to the tip, rather than my standard is cutting it off this way. I say standard. My last one that worked really, really well. But what I did there was I clipped the blade off quite a bit more. But what that does is, man, that shortens your blade up too much. And being a 4-blade, I don't know, it might could stand it a little bit more. But what I haven't done is this S-curve on the front. That'd be something totally different. And from everything I've found, you need blade area in here for acceleration for the first half. You want it fat bladed right there. But out here, in my estimation, so far what I found is you want a higher aspect ratio, because that prop is spinning real fast out there. So it could be, and I haven't tested it in race conditions, but man, the one that I made that was brand new for this past race, I was really impressed with it. So I got to run it a little bit more before I cut this full blade. But yeah, I did. I ran across a wheel I had in the box that's very similar to the blade area on these two props that I brought to work on. And these are, I think that's a fairly new prop right there. But this thing was just in a box of props that somebody gave us, and it's pretty close to maybe what a Yamato would run. It does have the big 5/8 hole, so I'm going to shim it, and I am going to put a little acceleration in it right here. It's open up to 14, the same as these are, 14 at the hub on the leading edge. So I'm going to bring that down probably a full inch. I'm probably going to go to 13, maybe even go to 12/7 right in here, so that as soon as that prop hits the water, it's starting to bite right there. It just as quickly as it hits the water. So anyway, that's my idea. I'm probably going to mess with this prop a little bit and like I say, bend it up, see what happens there. Let's see if we can't bend that prop. It's going to be a C-mod wheel, because the rest of the pitch looks pretty good for C-mod. Like I say, I'm going to go to my smaller curve here, and I'm going to bring that blade in a little bit. And the way I do it, I don't have pitch blocks. The way I do it is I'll put it down on that, against that brass back in here somewhere, you know, where it's touching back in here, and I'll hit on this to bend it down. And that's what I'm going to do right here. And it doesn't take that hard of a hit to move it. So, in fact, you got to be a little bit careful up here where it's real thin and you don't crack the blade. Alright, let's see what that did, if anything. Yeah, it brought it up some, but it's not enough, I can tell. I'm going to work on it a little bit longer here before I try to measure it. That may be enough there. It moved pretty good. Let me look at it with the eyeball that goes through there. No, it could probably use even a little more. Yep. It can use a little bit more before I put it on take the time to measure it. I've just seen it with my eye enough to where I can tell kind of what I want there. Alright, let's see what we got there now. Yeah, it's coming around. Coming around pretty good. Oh yeah, you can see it from one blade to the next. Alright, I'm going to stop and measure and see what I am now instead of 14. See what kind of pitch I've come up with. I've run it as low as 12 right there, but let's see what we got. Alrighty. This one should be about an 8.2. Let's see what we got here. Come on down, man, right on the money, 8.2. That'll work. Then we go into the next level, going inside. And let's see, what are we looking for there? About a 10.5. Well, it's just under 10. Am I looking right? Let's check this other one. No, okay, 10. 10 is what I want there. What I got on the first blade. exactly 10 on the second blade, and exactly 10 on the third. Man, I don't know if I'm good or lucky, but I'll take it either way. And then I'll move all the way into the inside, as close as I can measure to that inside, and let's see what we got there, which, you know, that's a little bit too tight right there. I think I'm gonna move out just a shade because can't bend it any closer than that or I'll break it. So I'm gonna start right here, and that is a 13-1. Let's see how accurate it is blade to blade. 13-1. 13-1. And those started out at 14 pitch. So I've taken nearly an inch of pitch off of it, or, you know, let's see. Yeah, quite a bit of pitch. Started at 14, it's 13-1. So I've taken 9/10 of an inch of pitch off of it right here. Roll that edge up. So when it first hits the water, it starts pulling. It's not just an open blade, it's looking down like this. So it's starting to pull way up in here. And so far, I've found that to work really good. And I think that's the only change I'm gonna make on this wheel, similar to what I'm gonna do to these other wheels too. I think there's some something to be had on making sure that one of the blades isn't bent on one of these, because I did, when I was looked through it earlier, I found one of these big E wheels, Super E wheels, whatever they are, that it wasn't the same on all the blades. So I'm gonna check that first. But then I'm gonna do the same thing I've done to my blade, is I'm gonna just look it up, a little bit less pitch right in there, and I probably won't go as radical as I did on mine, on theirs, because I think I'm gonna need more acceleration than they were. This one starts out at 14.2, and I'll probably bring it back just under 14. So I'm not gonna go as radical here because it's not my prop. They said they don't want maximum acceleration. Said it pulls really good after the first 200 yards. So I don't want to hurt the top end by closing that up at all. So we'll see how that goes. But that's our prop business for today. Glad to find this one in the box. I'm gonna have to make a shim for it. It's bored for 5/8. This was an old 45 tunnel boat wheel, so I've got to make me a brass shim to go in there so that the hole will be this size, 9/16. Well, that's what we're gonna focus on next. But hope you enjoyed that, a little bit of piddling around with props here in the shop, and we'll lay out some more stuff a little bit later on, see where we go from here.